It kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming live from the lab at Town & Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia. What's going on tonight?
Hey, everybody. Just getting my nails ready to bolt tonight. Filing them a little bit, making sure they're the proper length. And got a big match tonight.
What you got?
Jake Rivers and Artie Van Buren.
Ooh.
But I think it's TR Millette tonight.
TR's bowling tonight.
Oh, that's right. Pops is on the IR list, right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Austin, how are you tonight?
I'm good, Kyle. I'm good.
Call him Champion Austin.
Champ
Champ
is in the house. We'll get to that in a minute. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. What else we got? Oh, email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Check us out on the Facebook page, the Instagram page, the X page, all of that good stuff.
The YouTubes.
They're on the YouTube now. Oh, they could be on YouTube. They could be on Facebook. They could be on X. They could be watching from anywhere. So,
Exactly.
yes, if you're not on YouTube live right now, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service. Tonight, we got a lot to talk about. First and foremost, we are going to be talking about possible idea to...
Kyle has an idea.
I have an idea. An epiphany?
Of the week.
To implement a feeder system into the PBA. We talked about that a little bit last week, but expanding on that idea to maybe to grow that a little bit. So we'll talk about that, maybe get your guys' ideas about how to grow that a little bit. We're going to talk about the PBA, all the
great show we had.
news and announcements that were going on this week. And why don't we get right into it? We have yet another championship in the room.
In the room.
Yes.
Like put himself up.
Popped it right on the
Wow.
screen. Austin,
You would've
2
yelled
weeks in
in
a
the
row,
phone.
back-to-back championships.
Back-to-back jacks.
First, the club event 2 weeks ago, and now the 64-man bracket tournament, which is like Everyone in this house loves to win that tournament.
Loves to bowl in it.
Well,
There's
bowling
only
it,
been 8
not just bowl. I'm
champions.
sorry, bowling it. Yeah, of course, everybody would like to win it, but everyone likes to bowl in it because of the experience and all of the games and all of that stuff.
The
But
prestige.
yes,
It's definitely a grind.
yeah.
You only bowled 15 games. Shake it off.
If you're in the losers bracket and you make it to the finals, if you get into the losers bracket early and make it to the finals, you bowl like
You can bowl 16 games.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
we
it
almost
was-
had that.
It was not fun 2 years ago for me. I think I won the first game and then lost, and then won to the finals.
So I will add in that if you win the first game and lose the second game, you can still bowl all the games because you don't get a game off game 2. So
It is a lot of games.
we almost had an Ironman this year.
In who?
Brian Van Alstyne
Really?
lost in round 2,
Yep.
and then made it to the top 3.
Yeah, he was top 3.
Wow.
Top 3. Yeah, he lost to. I think he
Heather,
lost to
yep.
Heather in the semifinal match, the finals of the loser bracket.
Right.
But I think he had bowled 12 games up to that point, roughly 11 to 12. So then if he won that, he'd have to bowl 2 against Austin. So about 14, 15 games. Yeah.
That is insane. You have to eat your Wheaties for sure.
And he was hungover.
I gotta be honest, I didn't eat a thing.
I literally said to him, like, you all right? And he's like, dude, we were out till like 4 in the morning. I'm so hungover. And he bowled great. I mean, I think that was
Ridiculous.
just it because he just, he didn't have any juice when he walked in the door. He just did his thing.
That is wild. Austin, what was your strategy going in, knowing like you'd have to bowl a ton of games if
Throw
I
a
mean
lot of
if you
strikes.
win? I mean, Austin didn't lose, right? You didn't lose
No,
a game.
He was a
'Cause
champion.
You're the winners
Nope, I was
bracket and
undefeated,
you were
yeah.
the champion. So how many games is that for?
I think it's
his
8.
I think I had 8.
Oh, you got lucky.
Oh,
Almost
you're
half
not
the amount of games. So what was your strategy going in? It is house conditions, not modified whatsoever, right?
No, so basically this tournament is in league house qualifying.
Right.
You can qualify in your league. We do allow the tournament champions to bowl. That is the only way you can get in from not bowling here. We had one person do it this year. The other people were busy at Bud Bowl doing a bunch of other stuff. So Austin actually qualified with an automatic bid, so he didn't have to pay the qualifying fee, which is $20. So Austin put in $25 in this event, so he maxed out his possible earnings. So Austin was an automatic bid. So you get in through qualifying through your league. However many winners we have, we take X amount of players into the final. So if we had 10 winners and they all showed up, we'd take the top 54 scores, and we do 3 weeks of qualifying for $20, and your best score counts. Your best score is the one we take. It's not the least or the whatever. It's the best score. You bowled best one your first week, you're in. Yes, not summertime tournaments. I'm sorry. Maybe we'll do the champion this year of the point system. Maybe that'll be better. But yeah, so Austin was in at the. You weren't very high on the list.
No,
You were like 55th.
I was the last 10 spots.
You
somewhere
were
in
like
there,
55th through 60. It doesn't really matter how you get in. But believe it or not, the most successful seeds are like from 45 to 50, 55.
Yeah, the stat tracking in this tournament is pretty good.
Yeah, Jim does an excellent job. We actually found that the worst seed to be is seed number 6. They have never won a game. That might have changed this year. I hadn't looked at it. Seed 6 has been 0-2 for the past 8 years. Seed 45 has had the most wins. We did lose Jim's computer this year. RIP. So we
have no more stats.
we have statistics, but we have statistics from the last 4 years. We don't have the first 4 years.
Oh my goodness.
I don't believe. But I have every score, every matchup from this year to 4 years back. I'm on my.
They have this thing called the cloud, you know.
It is on the cloud.
Oh.
Yeah, but it died before we put it up there.
Oh.
It was just
Before it was sent to
Yeah.
the cloud.
So yeah, so we always used to have that one plugged into an outlet at all
Mm.
times. Now he uses my laptop. I use the front desk computer because they are Windows 10 based. We actually can talk because we use OneDrive, so they go at the same time. So he'll go around. He'll go to the corners, 17 to 24, and 1 through 6. I can see 5 to 18. I can really see close to 5 to 20 with my eagle eyes. But he goes around and gets some extra scores if I don't see him, and that way we're a little bit more efficient now. The first year was super hard. The second year was super hard. Now we've really got it down to a flow. There really wasn't any snafus.
It was very quick.
And then we have our board, which is made, which has the lane assignments as well. So you know where you're going if you win or lose. And the players are now accustomed to this tournament. So it's almost like we don't even need to run it anymore. You kind of know who wins and lost.
Go with the flow.
You go with it. So anyways, that is what we ran this weekend. It is our Town and Country Invitational. So Austin did win. He won 8 games. He didn't lose. And what was your question? What was his strategy?
Yeah, what was your strategy?
What's your strategy?
You're on house conditions. You're bowling a wide array of styles, which means the lane play is all over the place.
All over. You got guys up 10. You got guys hooking it. I mean, you got guys outside.
So
grip it.
my strategy is a little different than most because my strategy is the first 3 frames. You need to double or triple the first 3 frames to eliminate handicap as a potential reason to lose.
That's very true.
No pressure.
So that's all I really tried to do. I just
there.
tried to stay close. I threw one big game.
But you needed it.
Gap. Yeah, I really needed it that game. But my second highest game was 233. So yeah, I had a 279 in the finals of the championship bracket.
Yeah.
And
you needed it because she had 250, 260.
Yeah, I think I still only won by 10 or 15.
Yeah.
Pins.
Wow.
She had like 260 with her handicap. And I think you told somebody previous to the match, you said to them, I need 279 plus to win this match. That's what I heard you say.
I probably said something along the lines of, I can only make one mistake.
Yes. And you shot 279. So
Yeah, and it wasn't that bad of a mistake either. I think it was a 10 pin. I think I missed it off my hand a little bit. But that game, I kind of came into it just thinking, rip the ball and hope it hits.
Yeah,
because that was the game that I went out to the car to get a ball because I had absolutely no look. For most of the day, I felt like I had no look.
I mean, you worked. I mean, I think you came up to me and you're like, yeah, I think I got a ball change. And I was like, you think? Because I watched his ball roll and it was all forward and he had to work so hard. I don't know if you ball changed after that.
No, I stayed in the theorem. It kept me closest to the head pin, and that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
I'll throw it a 10 pin or a 4 pin, 8 pin, 9 pin. I do not want to throw it a split.
Right.
Yeah. I left one split all day. I left a 479 and I made it. So
very close to clean all day.
That was a good day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, no side action in that event.
No.
It's just,
how could there be?
Right. It's just straight bowling. So you don't have to worry about any of that. I mean, it was impressive. At one point, we had 8 players in the losers bracket, 4 of which bowled every game in the top 16, which means you cashed as well.
Wow.
So they had bowled every game, and then they slowly knocked each other out. Luckily enough, you didn't have to go into the losers bracket. You bowled good basically in every match. You bowled just good enough to win.
I made sure I had a chance in the 9th.
Well, even that last game, because I wasn't able to be here, but I did see the last match, the final match. That
217 to 219.
Yeah, it was
down to the wire.
Down to the wire. You had to strike just the first one to win?
No, 9
I
spare.
just needed a spare. The
Oh,
first
9
one
spare,
didn't
okay.
count.
He needed a mark, and basically, I think you need 8.
He needed
Mark and 8 to
Okay.
win.
7 to tie, 8 to win.
Yeah.
Regardless, it came down to the wire.
It did.
Yeah.
It did, and it was an excellent match. Heather also bowled fantastic.
Really
She
well.
bowled very well all day too.
She did. She really did. She kept it. She keeps it close, and she makes her spares. You know, she didn't throw a lot of splits. Her game is simple. Another player who bowled good, Brian Van Alstyne, only getting 2 pins, by the way. Made it to the final 3. Chris Smith always shows up in this event.
I'm pretty sure he had 800.
He might have. He usually shoots
A
800 this year.
reset. He had 800.
He like always
somewhere
shoots.
in there.
He shot 800 to get in.
Yeah, he
against
shot
me.
812. Yeah, to get in. Yeah,
Yeah.
our cut was 731.
It was the last day to get in, and he's like, I got to shoot 800 to get in.
He did.
And he did.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
my
he,
face.
he bowled really good. Bowled fantastic.
Thanks, Chris.
There's really not much more to say about his game when he got here, and he was focused. He was going for the kill. I mean, he was going for the kill every game. He ran into Jim McLean game, or did he run into Jim McLean? No, he didn't run into Jim McLean. Who did he lose to? He bowled Bobby
Should
Cox.
have brought the big boards in.
Well, I have it on my OneDrive.
Was
I
it
can pull
Heather?
up.
I think
That's
it was
all right.
Heather.
He did lose to Heather.
I
He
think it
lost
was
to Heather. He did. And then I think he won a game or two in the losers bracket, and then he ended up losing. But a lot of good guys. A lot of good guys scored. They made it happen. So it was a good event. It was a very good event. We had a new winner. Austin's the only guy to win who has gotten an automatic bid, and he's also the only player to ever make it to the finals twice.
And now, back to back, 2 years in a row, I should say.
Yes.
Christmas Eve,
Champion.
bracket champion. Christmas Eve, bracket champion.
Well, Christmas Eve, just 24 lane champion.
Right. I'm saying the two tournament
Yeah.
champions.
So last year, Tony Silvano won on Christmas Eve and then won this event. And then this year, Austin has done the same thing.
Wow.
So,
Congratulations, Austin.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, you don't want to talk about your weekend?
I didn't
Maybe-
bowl.
Maybe just
I didn't show up to bowl.
just touch on it a little bit.
Bowling didn't exist. Yes, Deke, we are going to Bud Bowl.
I'm not bowling, though.
Yes, you are.
No, I canceled my shifts.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Then stay home.
I'm
if
not
you're going to be
I'm not good
a
enough.
poopy pants.
I'm not good enough.
All right. I don't want to hear your whining. We went to the New York State Masters. I didn't show up. Ant bowled very good.
No, that's
And
debatable. I bowled pretty poorly. I did. What?
nothing. You just missed by a couple pins.
Yeah, I bowled poorly. I shot 170 the first game. I wasn't sharp. Missed 3 spares. Not
Well, that doesn't
acceptable.
help. Yeah.
Next game, I shot 201. I was on pace for 230 in the 8th and 9th. I split. Next pair, I threw a 5 count in the 10th. Next pair, I shot 193. Ball changed for the 193. Then I stayed in the same ball. My buddy was whacking them, so I moved to where he was and threw the back 4 or 5. Then left a 7. Then struck out for 245. Went plus 13 and missed the cut by 3.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
it is
lanes
what it
were
is.
really hard. I mean,
The lanes up there are always tough because it's very hard lane to lane, not pair to pair. Lane to lane is pretty tough. There's a lot of front hook at that center. So Kyle's has been struggling with a lot of the front hook.
although I did good in Glens Falls this
No,
year.
you haven't been struggling with it. I struggle with front hook. And your thing wasn't it. And Blue Hammer was pretty good. And then GB4 hybrid was excellent.
Really good.
Pin down. Yeah.
But I could not get the ball to go left if I got it a little right, and then if I missed left, it was way
I feel like you had to have
so-
super open angles. And then,
But if I did that, I could not get the ball to recover.
yeah, I don't think you had, you know what? Mark Baker said it best. You just didn't match up.
I got those excuses. Good.
But yeah, they were
were tough.
definitely, they weren't the easiest. I know a few good guys struggled up there, and
Yeah.
our
At least I
buddy shot
wasn't alone.
300.
Oh yeah,
Matt Falzone. I gave him a high five. We bowled together. We crossed together. So, what's so
Matty
funny?
2Zs 300. Good job.
Yeah, 300 exponent solid.
All right,
That was our weekend.
let's move on to PBA real quick before we get into the other PBA stuff. We were talking about last week a lot of PTQ talk, right?
Yeah, somehow we mixed that
Yeah.
in, and then
And then there was how many people?
Three.
Three on the show. Three
Cake.
PTQ.
isn't Keiko a PTQ guy?
Might be. Now I gotta look check.
Keiko, Wilkins, and
Yep.
Kroll.
Right.
And then the other two were EJ and Billy O.
And not only do they make the show, I mean the odds are good once you have 3 out of 5. But you get the Bud Kroll who actually wins.
Is his name Boog because
That's his
he had a lot
nickname.
of boogers, or
I don't know. I actually know a guy whose nickname is Boog also. It's kind of crazy.
Does he have a lot of boogers?
No. Maybe in high school. Maybe he had a big hanger. Big loogie.
That's
I don't know. Gross.
I was just throwing it out. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
Boog
know.
is like a bear name to me. Like you got to be a bear,
He
but
was-
he looks like a small guy.
But I guess he was catching a lot of heat on the social media.
Yeah, 'cause he
for
won.
the crossovers.
Yeah. So what?
Really? I won $20,000
care.
on a
Listen.
crossover. I won just
If
as
I'm
much as he
beat-
did
if
on
I
the
beat you
crossover.
because of a crossover, I'm still going home with that money.
Yeah.
I ain't giving it up.
10 went down, right?
It's tough because a lot of people they were complaining about how far the players had to loft the ball and there's no touch, yada yada yada. I think Kyle and I were chatting about it last night. I don't feel as if the PBA patterns are as open as they used to be. Hello, Town and Country Lanes. And I don't feel like they're as open as they used to be about 2 years ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I feel as if you really they're a little more kegel like. I feel like kegel bowling patterns are more black and white. You need to play a certain part of the lane. They make the pattern so that way it's more black and white. When you bowl the PBA stuff previously, I felt as if, if Austin wants to play in and Kyle wants to play straight and the shot's calling for you to play in, well, Austin's going to have a better chance to strike. But at the same time, Kyle, if he executes, if he executes well and he's really sharp, he's got a chance to play kind of where he wants to play. At this event, it just didn't seem like they were like that. It seemed like the track area was hooking a lot. I have bowled there before. I bowled there on Bear, so I don't remember the center. I probably have notes on it, but I don't I think the high end hooks a crap ton more. The low end, I think, is a little cleaner.
Delaware you're talking about?
Yeah. I can't remember exactly. But at the same time, the PBA players have been there for the doubles, so it's not like it's a new place.
Right.
So for the people, I will say for the people who complain about Boog or the guys throwing over the lane, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. At the same time, though,
you got to do what you got to do to win.
Yeah, and then the other way I look at it is if everybody has such a problem with it, instead of talking about the players, how about we talk about the lane men who are supposed to make the conditions conducive for the players to be able to play that pattern.
Right.
And that's the main problem is the people that are complaining about it. Just it's not that they might not understand, but they don't want to accept the fact that it's not always and I'll put this in quotations, two-handers' fault.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where Billy O was playing, because I didn't watch too much.
I didn't watch the first game.
But I just don't understand he's catching heat for playing where he thinks he's got the best chance to strike, and it did not look good at all. But at the same time, the lane men need to do a better job, in my opinion, making sure that the track area isn't going to get fried or destroyed, especially on TV. During qualifying, it's interesting because if you're doing that in TV, what are you doing in qualifying? I'm assuming it was even worse. Yes, Deke says I finished second there at hook. Should have never picked that pattern. Yeah, there's probably a lot of front hooks. So when they go to a long pattern, I think they use Billy Hardwick.
Yep.
The track is fried. So if there's not enough volume in the front part of the lane, it's just going to blow open, which it did. So it made bowling look kind of funny. It was definitely not the best look. That's starting to ramble.
But there's also a lot of guys that, like we've talked about this before, like I can't get the ball past the dots, and that's like a lot of loft for me. And then you got guys that can loft it to the arrows.
So that's who won at the Masters this week was Brandon Boyer. Congratulations, Brandon. He's a South Glens Falls guy.
And that's his bread and butter, is just to be able to loft it. That's his game.
Yeah, he throws it to the arrows. That's just how he bowls. Yeah, that's just how he bowls.
And probably because that's where he's grown up bowling for the last 10 years.
Right. And
he's all hook.
It plays into his advantage because everybody has older fronts, really, except for here. So that's the interesting part of it, is that, he's used to that because of his environment. And at Broadway, it just so happened that there's so much front hook that he was able to throw it over it. Deservingly, he probably played them the best. I mean, he was like a boatload over.
Yeah. Way more than anybody else.
Yeah.
No, there's another person that shot like 160 over or something.
Yeah, the lefty Paul Bajorge, and then actually Switchfoot was also he was up there. He was like 150 over.
Okay.
He was up there pretty good too. So Brett Groff, hey Brett, how are you? He said fronts hooked a lot and didn't play long at the PTQ. I think they bowled on early Anthony for the PTQ, if I'm correct. Good thing I didn't go.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they did. I said to you, good thing you didn't go to the PTQ.
I haven't hit that pattern for in 5 years. It seems like, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think the lane men just need to do a little bit. Listen,
it does seem.
I'm not a professional lane man,
right?
But we're all thinking the same thing. Got to be a little better.
Do better. I hate that. It's
but not anyway, do better. I didn't say do better. I know. But they need to be better.
I'm just saying, like, I guess I can agree with you, but they
have the scouting report. They've been there before.
They also want more hook. That's what everybody always says. I'm not saying that's what they're saying, but everybody always goes, "Oh, they like when the guys hook it." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if people could the average bowler be watching TV and see a guy throw the ball over the gutter caps and strike. They might like that.
It's impressive.
I don't know. Do the average bowlers like that? I don't know. Or not the average bowlers, the bowlers like us that, I
probably would have been lefter of that guy.
Is it more of a skill to be able to loft it over? Some people say no, but like, I can't freaking do that. I look at that and go, Jesus, I wish I could do that.
If I try to get it to the arrows, it's going dead straight.
Yeah.
I can get it to the arrows.
I have no
Yeah, then what?
rotation.
I'll make it hook.
I have no rotation. when
I've
I
done it
try to
before.
loft.
Yeah, I can't loft it that far. So some people look at it and go, "Wow, that's impressive that they can do that."
It is impressive, but at the same
especially
time,
when you're one-handed.
that's the difference. Is
Right.
that when you're two-handed, it's like
It,
I don't.
Yeah,
it
it's
takes,
a little easier.
Yeah,
But
when
when
one-handed-
when Brandon Boyer does it, I look at that and I think that's pretty impressive. I mean, he's also got a foot on me and
his
a
wingspan's
little bit
also
more
a foot
leverage.
longer. Yeah,
Yeah.
big
So-
guy. He's a very strong guy.
Yeah.
Small hand.
Really?
He's got a smaller hand than Austin.
There's
And
no
Austin's got
shot.
baby hands.
There's no shot.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. Like he's got a small hand.
Next time I see him, I'm putting my hand in his ball.
It'll fit, guaranteed. But yeah, so that's the one thing I don't particularly like is I feel like they could have done a better job, especially since they've been in that building before.
Yeah, they know what pattern they could have or should have used or whatever.
They've been there enough to where they know the PBA regionals have been there. They had 2 regionals. I think they had 2 stops last year, or 1 stop. So the PBA has experience being there. It could
So
have
do
been
you
better.
think they should start with? There's something we keep talking about is all of these bowling alleys that have had synthetic surfaces for 25 years now and haven't updated them.
Mhm.
Do you think for a 45-foot pattern or 42 or 43, should they be 33 or 35 mils instead of 28 so that the fronts hold up? Can there be a pattern that the fronts hold up long enough? Not short. I'm not talking about short because short, you can get 30 mils short and the ball, and you're playing on the gutter, so that it tends to hold up a little longer.
Well, let's ask you a question.
But hang on. So can you have a long pattern? Is there a volume or an oil or whatever that you can get to hold up?
What sense does it make to have 30 mils on a 35-foot pattern and 30 mils on a 45-foot pattern?
I understand the difference. I'm saying,
And I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing a question in there, like, what sense does it make? Because when you're oiling 45 feet versus 35, of course the 35 footer is probably going to hold up well because it's condensed. You're using the same amount of oil on a long pattern, and you've got to oil longer, so now you're putting more oil down lane instead of in the front part of the
Right.
lane. So now instead of making it so it's high then low, you're
Right.
actually keeping it like this. There's no taper there, so the fronts go, and then there's still oil down lane.
but
because
that's
the
what
ball's
I'm
hooking.
asking though. So
Is there enough
can-
oil? No, I think they need to use
can you-
less.
you want to use less so that
Yeah.
it burns up faster.
I think they should use less because why would you use more on long? Listen, if you're going to make it long, the ball's going to get kind of weird anyways. The way the lanes are structured and the way they oil, I don't particularly agree. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I
I'm-
do kind of see where Anthony's coming from.
I don't
'cause
particularly
if you
agree.
Put less oil out.
You don't need less, but you don't need 30. You don't need the same. Okay. Yes, you could use less, but you don't need 33 mils on 43 feet, 44 feet because it doesn't make any sense. It's
Not to
stretched
mention
out.
They're just going to throw the big balls anyways.
I understand it's stretched out.
I
What
don't
I'm
know
saying
I
is,
can't throw the
easy
big
oil.
balls in those.
what I'm saying
burn
is,
out.
would you want even more oil so that
No.
the fronts hold up? Why would you want less if the
I-
fronts are going to blow up even faster?
I'm not saying you need. Listen, 33 milliliters is too much for 43 feet or 44 feet. Doesn't make any sense. You need to change the structure of the load structure, is what I'm saying. I don't care about the oil. You're telling me you can't get a pattern to hold up at 25 mils? Okay, for those guys, maybe not. But let's say you don't need 33 mils for 44 feet. I don't agree with that. You're oiling it too level, or you're oiling too much. You have too much oil down lane. That's my opinion. Now, I'm not a professional lane man,
But then
but I have some experience with a little bit of
But if
reading
you
them.
keep all the oil in the front, aren't you going to have too much taper and kind of make it more like a house shot?
I mean, how many 2-2s are you going to put in it? That's the other
I
question.
don't know. I don't build patterns.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so if you're building patterns, why do you need 33 mils? Because then the ball, once the ball starts to hook, it's already flared. So if your ball hooks at 25 feet like it did at that place, all the oil past 25 feet is completely irrelevant because you're not taking that off the lane necessarily as much as you would be in the other part of the lane where the ball is actually slowing down and oscillating. Because once the ball hooks, it's rolling. So it's no longer really flaring in a sense. It might be flaring a little bit, but it's not flaring as wide or as much as the ball is in the first 15, 25 feet. So all the oil
If
you
you get
put,
into the roll in the first 15, 25 feet.
I'm just
yeah.
say
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
If you do.
So
yeah.
anything past 25 feet, all the oil that they build up is completely irrelevant. So why isn't there more oil at 25 feet and then you can taper off down lane? I'm sure you can make the pattern hard enough. Those guys do it for a living, those lane machine guys. And plus, you should be able to do that. If you can't do that, then don't put out a long pattern.
it can't be irrelevant. Otherwise, the ball would still, if there was no oil, the ball would go left. The more oil, the ball keeps continuing straight. The ball still even though
Yeah, the
it
ball
gets
still needs hook.
or it still needs
oil.
Oil or no oil to do what you want it to do.
Yeah,
Meaning, if you don't want it to hook, you need oil. If you want it to hook or move, I should say, then you need no oil. But so if there's no oil there, kind of like not like what you're saying, but if you remove the oil or have less oil, then the ball's going to go left. It's going to hook or go right, whatever.
Yeah, but if you have a thin layer on the lane, yes, the ball will still hook. But at the same time, if you have that much front hook, you need to load the fronts up, and you can't have the
Agreed.
same. You can't have the same
you
ratio.
Need to load the fronts up.
If you've got 20, if you've got 3 sections and all 3 sections of the lane are all 1-to-1, are all 1-to-1. Well, if you only need the first section and a half, then what's the point of the other lane? Because if my ball's already rolling, just say it's hooking, it's rolling towards the pocket at 45 feet, or let's just say 25 feet. It's already rolled towards the pocket. It doesn't matter how much oil is there.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the oil is irrelevant. That's what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. I'm more wondering if you do front load it to try to build up the heads to avoid or
I'm not a lane man, by the way.
To make it hold up, to get it to hold up, and to remove that early front hook. Does it then create too much of that taper so that the ball is starting to bleed off as it goes down the lane and turn it into more of a house shot? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but I will say that there's got to be a way to put a little bit, like, listen, I'm just saying don't make it a 1-to-1 ratio. That's all I'm saying. Keep it
front
so
to back or side to side?
Front to back, I think.
I mean more front. Like if you're oiling, if there's 3 zones, don't oil 15 mils, 15 mils, 15 mils. I'm saying oil 25 mils, 15, 10. Yeah, it will give you a taper, but at the same time, the ball's still going to be going down lane, and the fronts are going to hold up more. You're not going to see the debacle you saw. I don't believe.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a lane man. I know a little bit about that stuff. I'm not saying I'm the ace buku. I'm not a kegel guy.
Right.
I just know a little bit. I'm just saying, why don't they do that? And to Fred Hunt's probably answer question here, isn't it possible to ball down? Absolutely, but when you're bowling on 33 mils and then you ball down into the smaller balls, a lot of times if you hit the oil, they become oil allergic and they skid way too much.
That's exactly the problem that I had at the Masters. Is like I was trapped a little bit because in the beginning I would use something strong, it would hit the lane, go left, and then I would be like, all right, I'll try something weak. Hit the lane. If I was perfect, it would look good. If I miss a hair right, take out the 6.8 or 6.9 rather. So it's like, great. So this is not helpful very much.
Yeah.
So
what Fred asked is balling down. Like you said, the balls at that level are a little bit more oil allergic. Listen, there's probably some other balls that would roll better, but at the same time, I'm talking balling down like even further. I would assume from my experiences that the weaker balls won't hook in the right part of the lane, so you're going to get a lot of over under, and then the bigger balls just hook too much. So you're going to take your chance at throwing a washout, or you're going to pray to God you can throw it on the cross, or you're going to strike. I'm probably going to throw a bigger ball and pray I throw it on the cross.
I would just rather get 9 than what I got all day.
You're going to use a bigger ball because they handle that oil better.
Yeah.
And if you ball down too far, the ball is just never gonna read the lane the proper way.
All right.
We should just do what Zach said and go 100 mils.
Before we hop off the PBA topic, I would like to say Billy O is leading the standings.
Really?
Yeah, by like 350 points.
Even with
he's killing it, dude.
Even with EJ making 5 out of 6 shows.
Billy O's just about made 5 out of 6.
You're right. I guess it was more consecutive.
Billy O's made 3 or 4 this year.
Yeah, that's wild. He has had a hell of a season.
That is definitely.
He's got like a 300-400 point lead, I think.
That is definitely an interesting conversation about a lane man. Almost got that stuck in my ring. I definitely an interesting conversation where we would probably need somebody a little bit more knowledgeable, but from my thought process, that would have been better.
Maybe that would be a good
guess. If there's anyone listening from Kegel.
No, that would be a good guess is to get the PBA guy on here.
Yeah.
PBA lane man.
Funny enough.
That would be cool.
Oh, we could get the old one on.
Probably not. But it'd be interesting to listen to them talk about it. Because obviously we're not professionals. So that's just, for everybody watching at home, don't say this guy said it and he knows everything, okay? I'm just giving my opinion,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if it would work.
We're
But
making guesses.
You got to remember too, the lane man has to do what the PBA wants.
Right.
At the end of the day, so if the PBA wants you to play on the right lane when you're really on the left lane, you want to throw over the gutter cap on 19, or you're on 19, you're bowling on 18, you throw over the gutter cap. He's got to do his job to feed his family. So it's not, but I don't know. Listen, what do I really know?
Yeah.
I'm just here. I'm having a good time.
All right, let's get on to our
What are we
main
talking
topic
about?
of the day.
What are we talking
But
about?
before we do,
Dun, dun, dun.
don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. What else do I usually say? Oh, Facebook, Instagram, X, all that good stuff. You can
Did you bring
find
up
us
the
there.
Etsy shop yet?
Etsy shop. I didn't even say that. Find a shirt on Etsy, Bowler's Bowl, all that good stuff. And if you can't watch on YouTube, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service. So let's get right into it.
To Bill McGaffin's comment, I don't believe so, because I believe the PBA lane man is actually on tour with the players. He's not just like making patterns. He's actually running the lane machine. I believe he's the lane machine maintenance guy too. Like, he does the whole entire enchilada. He's not just saying, "Oh, you're going to use this." Tom does. Okay, well, I don't think that's correct, but we will find out.
I'm sure we'll be told immediately after the show or tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we'll find out. If
Yeah.
he's doing it, then I've seen some of his stuff.
All right.
What are you thinking, BBA?
PBA feeder system. Let's get into it. Last week we talked about the squads and how they're too small and all this good stuff. So this time my idea wasn't in the shower. That's usually where all my good ideas come from. But Richie Pissas is in the house. So I had an idea. All right. So I was thinking, how do we build up the amount of players? How do we build up the money? Not we, like me, but just, the sport in general, as far as the PBA goes, right? So I was thinking, basically a tiered system. All right. So like we would have 3 tiers to the PBA. Tier number 1 being PBA National Tour. But first and foremost, what we would do is we would expand the current field to 100 players. So get rid of that 55 guys, whatever it is now, 50 or 55 guys, plus the exemptions and the PTQs. And now it would be a minimum of 100. I don't know what the final numbers would be because I don't run the PBA, but minimum of 100. And then the commissioner can have his couple of exemptions. Okay. So that at minimum, it would be 100 a week. And that would be the season. That's your tour for the season. And these guys would be based on the current PBA points rankings. As far as, let's say, this is going to be the 2025 season. All right, this is my idea. And then this also means that there would be no more PTQs either. So going forward, just like in the PGA, let's say, this is your field for the season. No more PTQs. Regionals only. And then from that point forward, at the end of each season, you're going to drop out 20 guys from the field.
Yep. The
So-
low guys, right?
Right, the drop
Or if
out.
they retire.
Right.
So if somebody retires, does it drop?
yes.
It's like, okay.
Well, so you're going to lose 20 guys.
So if 2 guys retire, you got 22 spots.
Or that could encompass the 20, and then, instead of taking the top or the low 20 points getters, because that would be the 20 points getters, instead of taking the 20 points getters,
Be
you would
18.
only 18. Right.
Okay.
So then that to fill those spots, it would be the top 2 points earners from each region,
Bones, you're correct.
which would be 14 players. Okay, because there's 7 regions. So you would have, you would have 2 players from each region. That's 14. And then to make up the next 6, we would bring back the tour trials.
A lot of numbers.
So that's 20. 6 plus 14 is 20.
Okay. I'm trying my best to follow.
So basically, I'll recap. So you got expand it to 100 players.
So Tom Henke is the
Yeah, well, get your facts straight, dude.
All
right.
Yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
All right. He's the
PBA
lane
lane
man.
man.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's because they fired the last guy, remember?
I know. I just didn't know who was doing it now.
So expand to a minimum 100 players. No more PTQs, and then there would be a couple of commissioner exemptions. At the end of the season, drop out 20 spots, including retirees or whatever. And then these are based on what I'm calling tier 1 points. Okay. And tier 1 points are earned on tour. And then the top 2 players from each region earning tier 2 points, these are regional points, tier 2 points, would make up 14 positions, and the top 6 finishers from the reinstalled tour trials would make up the next 6 positions. Does that sound? We got this? We're good?
You have a lot of numbers. I'm gonna reread it while you talk more.
And then
You have so many numbers.
this is where it gets interesting, I think.
Even harder for me to keep track.
All right. So then there's going to be a whole third level. Okay. This is a third level points and membership system where the PBA will allow local tours like NEBA, or there's one like out in the Midwest called MSBS, the Midwest Scratch Bowler Series. And there's other ones all over the place, right? That can register, that would be able to register with the PBA as this tier 3 PBA tournament. It would still be private, still be run by those organizations, but they would just be registered with the PBA, and the PBA would have a set of rules that they would have to follow, lane conditions, maybe not necessarily formats, but maybe minimum format rules, like minimum number of games or something, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And these guys would be able to earn tier 3 points, which would then allow them maybe discounted entries into regionals. So regionals would still remain open. So you could, if you wanted to go pay $300 to a regional or more, maybe $400 nowadays, you could then maybe get into a regional for like $200 or $250 by earning these tier 3 points by bowling in these local tournaments that are registered with the PBA. And you would pay a PBA, not membership, but in this tour, in these local tours like NEBA or whatever, you would be like, okay, do you want your NEBA membership? Yes, that's $30. Do you want the PBA membership? Yes, that's whatever PBA says it would be, $50, whatever. And then you could gain those points to get into the regionals. It's kind of what I'm thinking, because then you could get tours from all over the country to get these guys to pay $50 or whatever the number is that the PBA would want.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would all be nationally ranked. That those points would all go into a nationally ranked system.
Are you trying to be like the guys from India or whatever it was?
Oh, that they did kind of come up with something like that, but not with the PBA.
No, I was just saying you said nationally ranked, so I thought that was.
But they would all be nationally ranked, so they could see where they fit in with the rest of the players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they would have their own. There would be a national points system, kind of similar like what you were talking about before with the USBC and having regions and stuff. But this would be more of a feeder system, so you could be like, okay, am I ready to move up to a regional? Should I participate in regionals? But the PBA would still be getting some money to add to the prize fund, add to their budget, add to whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes, Nick. Minor league PBAs are minor league for the PBA is basically the regionals. Yes, but as the current, I think what Kyle's saying is the current system is broken, and they don't use the regionals to feed. Yeah, they don't use it to feed the national level.
They don't use it at all.
So it's kind of silly to have these regionals if you're not going to use them for anything. That's where Kyle's getting at.
Yeah. The regional system should earn you a spot into the PBA. Plain and simple. Like if at the most basic level of what I'm getting at, if you wanted to ignore everything I just said,
okay.
If nothing else, I'm just saying, if you wanted to ignore everything I just said, go after yourself. But if you wanted to ignore everything I just said, at the most basic level, the regionals should mean something to get into the PBA. If you're going to put in your money and put in your time and get points on the regional level,
You should get in.
why would it not mean anything?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anyway, this is just another, kind of system, and it's loosely based off of kind of like what the PGA does, except that my thought came in with the private tours being a part of it, because we all go bowling those things week in and week out, and I don't want to say there's nothing to show for it, but like it kind of would see where you stack up against all those other guys out there, and then you don't have to drive to Delaware or Maryland or
You still get your points, but you can bowl in a local or a smaller or closer event.
And then you can say like, okay, you know what? Now I do feel like I can compete against those guys. Maybe something to that effect. You know what I'm getting at?
Of course, I understand that. A few things that I don't really get are the exemptions. I'm not an exemption guy, Kyle.
Okay.
I don't really like the exemptions. I think the exemptions are silly, because if you're going to give a player an exemption, it just means they didn't have to work for it.
That's
or
not
you
true.
want somebody else in.
No, I'm saying you have to work for it to get there.
To get an exemption. I mean, like the PBA, like if you're like, oh, we're going to give the House Pro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant, my brain was talking about the
PBA exemption.
What was like the roster.
Oh, no,
I'm sorry.
no.
You're talking about the commissioner's exemptions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's my
I'm
fault.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, well, I didn't say it. So I know exemptions are fine for the big time players.
Well, not even exemptions. It's just like, you're saying
they don't have
commissioner's
to
exemptions.
They don't have to worry about being dropped
I
or whatever. The commissioner stuff, I'm not really into that.
Sure.
Because that's like, oh, you just missed you're like 98th on the list. And you're a good face. Sure. We're gonna drop you in every week anyways, because but so then you don't really earn it. So there could be somebody else who could earn it over that guy, but you're gonna let him bowl every event again to basically give him a chance. I'm not really fond of that.
I don't know that the commissioner would let you in every week. It's a possibility, I suppose.
Yeah,
or you could also
more.
institute a rule in the PBA. You're allowed one commissioner's exemption every year.
They won't do that,
or something to that effect.
They'll let them bowl. Anyways, I know. I don't know. I just think
this is a dream world anyway.
It's a good idea. I think. Yeah, Don Harrington is correct. I guess it could be a house guy. Yeah, sure, absolutely. I guess I'm just not really into the PBA picking somebody who's not their field.
How do the club pros get exempt?
Listen,
it's just part of the PGA.
I'm not disagreeing with the house pro getting in. I'm disagreeing with the guys who don't make it, who try to bowl every week. But I also think there should be a PTQ. Why shouldn't there be a PTQ?
I just think, why should there be? Why waste the time during the week? Expand the tournament, make it 4 or 5 days probably not that many, 4 days during the week, and let the guys earn their spots via the regional tour.
Yeah, I get it. I know what Don's saying
here. There's no PTQ to get into the race every week. I mean,
which race?
Like the NASCAR race.
Yeah, there is.
Well, there's heats. There's qualifying, but
yeah, you got to be in the top 100, Kyle. It's PTQ, bitch. Thanks, Austin, for knowing racing better than Kyle. To Don's thing, I agree with Don. I agree with Don. You got to give him a few spots for 25,000.
You still have to go to school to get into NASCAR. You can't just walk in and drive the car. You have to. There's qualifications to get there.
Yeah, you have to be certified.
And then
for that,
there's no PTQ before the PGA. You can't just walk in every week.
Yeah, but
you have to earn your spot.
Yeah, but
it's a professional event.
Yeah, but you're going to give everybody 100. You're going to give
the PTQ for the NFL and
it's called the NCAA. It's an actual NCAA sport, Kyle.
College.
Men's bowling is freaking a club.
Well, sure, but they're not allowed. They're not allowed to have it, except
it's not my problem.
The other
NAIA. Yeah, but it's okay. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm telling you what I'm saying.
What about the XFL, Kyle? And the Canadian Football League. Forgetting those?
They're professional sports leagues. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
But they're like feeder systems. What about the Albany Arena League? Hello. Firebirds?
But they're not PTQs.
Basically there. I listen, you can have your exempt field, Kyle, sure, whatever. You can have your 100 guys. But then my other question to you is, out of your 100 guys, you guys Bob Dobby.
Wow. Okay.
That was bad. Yes, we do know that the back in the day,
I disagree with that,
got paid. I guess you get paid to show up. That's like live.
Yeah,
golf.
I disagree with that.
Okay, whatever.
I don't think you should get paid every week. I think you should have to
Okay.
make the cut to get paid.
I'm saying the exempt guys can be exempt. You can have your 20 people, Kyle, whatever it is that are over here that float or change. My question to you is, do you think 100 guys are going to tour all the time? So say those
If the money's there.
Say 15 guys don't want to go every week. What are you going to do with those 15 spots? Let the other 70 and 85 bowlers bowl without the extra 15? Or are you going to say, okay, now we're going to have a PTQ to max the field out?
Hang on a second.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Let's do the math.
I can't. I did 50.
How many bowlers bowl the PTQ every week?
I don't know. 40, 50, 60?
70?
Yeah. How many of them bowl every week?
Well, that
do you mean every week, or do you mean
how many of the bowlers?
How many do they have? That's what
let's
I'm
say
saying.
half of it. 45.
Say 20.
Okay, let's say 20.
Let's go for a small number. Let's say 20.
Okay.
I think
so
that's
at a
fair.
minimum rate, let's say it's 75 guys would show up every week, or
They have 56
are-
now, right? 56, 58.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
55. So,
so
it's
75 or
75.
80.
Yeah.
Would be we know right now would travel every week. That's not including the guys that you would say, oh, you made your points. You want to make it on tour? And they would probably say yes for the other 20. Now, again, remember that this would include the other money coming in from that tier 3 level that would go into the kitty.
I understand.
So that
I'm just
again,
saying,
and that includes going into the prize fund, going into the PBA's coffers, and then hopefully by an expanded field, you can increase sponsorship funds, etc., etc.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just saying, if those guys
that's another
don't
thing. I'm
bowl,
sorry, if you have 100 guys, 100 times 500 is 50,000.
right, Don. I can see where you're going with that. The bowlers don't pay the entry. Yeah, I'm assuming that the companies will do that.
That's a good point too.
Of course, they don't want a big field.
Yeah.
We understand that. It's always been that way.
There's only 3 companies anyway.
Yeah, but I just think your system's got some potential, Kyle. But I can agree that with the 3 PTQ guys being in it, it's a little different this year. I'd like to see something a little different because obviously those 3 guys had to bowl really good to get there, and then the guy who won actually had to kind of knock him over pretty good. I'm not gonna say he bowled great because I don't really know if he beat everybody. But it wasn't like something where I'd write home about, like, man, he was like Kyle Troop 2 weeks ago at the U.S. Masters,
right.
where he was like, yeah, I mean, he was just he was making it happen for how he could make it happen.
Right.
I think it's definitely an interesting thing. I wonder if golf is the same way. I hate to use golf, but if they have to pay their entry fee, if their sponsors pay their entry fees.
Man, I looked it up and I totally forget.
Good, I'm glad. Thanks for forgetting.
No, they're exempt from entry fees on the tour, I believe.
Okay. So anyways, I just wonder how your field will go with those 20 guys who, are the in and outers, right? So they're they could be in, they could be out.
Yep.
And
that's where the problem is too. Like on the Corn Ferry Tour, for example, I don't know what kind of money they make on that tour. How much does it hurt to be when you drop out of the PGA Tour down to the Corn Ferry Tour? Are you making a good living down there?
Ask Ronnie Russell.
Does he golf?
Yeah, he's on the
I know
Corn
he's a
Ferry
golfer.
Tour. He's on the Corn Ferry
Are you
Tour.
serious?
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure it's Ronnie Russell.
It's wild.
I don't know if he's any good. I'm just saying that he's on the course.
That's a level right below the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I heard he was on that. Yeah. I just wonder.
Golf will even have TV networks pay entry fees.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder the system. I think there could be a better system out there. I feel as if there should be a better system. Are we going to see one? I don't know. Do I have the answers? No, I definitely have ideas, but they might not be answers.
Bottom line is the regionals need to mean something.
Okay, well, we're talking about but we're talking about the national tour. Now you want to say the regional tour means something.
Yes, it's all interconnected.
Yeah, I understand
the
that. But we're
regionals
talking
need to mean something to get to the national tour.
But we're still talking about the national tour and how you get your national tour. We're talking about how you build the national tour's roster. I guess the regional, but you keep bringing it back to the regional. Sure, fine. So be the regional tour. But what about those 20 guys who are on that weird level of, well, we're on the back level, see if we can make it? You think they're going to believe that every week?
if they have an opportunity to make it to those spots, don't you think they're going to bowl in the regionals every week?
Okay, I'm not talking about regional. I'm talking about the national level.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Is if
Yeah, they
those-
might bowl the regionals every week, but that's different. That's regional.
You
You're
wanna
not
get your
going from
points.
Washington to Delaware, back to Arizona, back to the Midwest, back here, back
If
there.
you want to bowl
over
on
there.
tour, that's part of being on tour. And that's the other thing that PBA needs to do is expand their schedule. Bowling 10, 15 events is silly.
Well, I mean, football only plays 17 games in regular season.
Yeah, they also beat each other up every week.
17 times how many teams? Well, not how many teams. How many games each week?
I understand, but
So you got
again, look at golf. They play every
you got
week.
16 games a week, right?
But there's more money in golf right now
I
too,
know,
so
the money
it's
is
different. You
ridiculous
know,
in
it's
golf.
tough.
I'm just saying there needs to be more events.
Don says there are PBA 50 guys who get their free entry by sponsors. Not many. Kids Tour, all of them, even some PTQ, I'd imagine. I mean, I can see that 100%. I can see that. I think that if you're going to do it, Kyle, you can't get rid of the PTQ. I guess I'm a rooter for the underdog.
There's nothing
So I
wrong with
think-
underdogs. There's still going to be underdogs on the tour. I just think,
I know. I'm
I
just
think
saying.
I
think you don't get as many.
That would just like you just get to walk in and get a chance. It's just which
Right.
I guess maybe is a good thing, but you have to have the pros be the pros. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, let me ask you a question,
It's
Kyle.
weird.
If you're a professional,
You should have a level to get you there.
sure. Now, sure, yeah, they do. But say you got 10 spots to fill. What are you going to do? You're not going to fill it? Now you're
I-
worried about money, but then you're not going
I
to fill it
don't
because 10
think
guys
you're
don't
going
want
to
to
run
bowl.
into that problem. They're not going to run into a problem.
What if you
where
run
you're
into
not
that
gonna fill
problem?
those spots.
What if you run into that problem every
It's
week?
never going to happen.
What if you run into that problem every week? What's your answer? You gotta have something for it.
This isn't a local tournament where you're just like, oh, we didn't fill 10 spots. There's people that are wanting to bowl in the PBA.
Yeah, but are they gonna be on level?
What
You're gonna
just
have
c-
people
you
with
just
enough
call,
points.
You just call the lower ranks and start picking
Yes.
5, 6, 7.
Seriously,
in
this
each
is
of the
like,
lower
That's how it
ranks.
is, huh?
do you think this is an issue? It's not an issue.
So now we're just
You think
gonna
there's
pick
not
random
Do you
guys.
that made their points. You think that this
guess.
is a
Yeah, but those
a thing
the
that
same
exists?
random guys that led those
Listen,
are now in.
I'm
The
not
guys that-
saying, but I just don't agree with getting rid of the PTQ. I think you gotta have some guys who got a shot, who gotta get in. You gotta give the little man a shot, right?
The regionals.
If the national tour comes here, you're gonna tell me, like, I didn't make my points this year, guys. Oh no, I'm gonna go bowl in that freaking PTQ, and I'm gonna make the PTQ, and I'm gonna bowl against the big boys. That's what I'd say.
Go ahead.
But no, Kyle wants to kick out us little people.
So
Bowl the regionals. Make
I
your points.
think,
Yeah, but I just, you know what? I can't even. I don't
think-
even. There's not enough money on the regional tour, Kyle.
I agree with you
and then you're
100%.
gonna say, well, put the money
So
into that.
imagine
what
if
am
you
I supposed
had
to do?
thousands of guys bowling their local tours, paying $50 into the
Thousands.
Yes,
Okay,
There's tens of thousands
But
of
it's a-
guys
it's
bowling
a-
scratch
it's a-
tournaments every week,
but it's a finite amount of $50.
and it's a finite amount of paying a guy.
1,000 people.
$300 into the regional.
How many people do you really think are bowling scratch events and they're going to pay $50 extra? I'm just wondering. I just
if
want to
it
know.
means
Come
their
on.
performance over the season could get them on tour next season.
How
I
many
think
guys
a
wanna
lot-
bowl
it
on
would be
tour?
into the regional tour, but yeah, yes, I think it would actually work. That's just my opinion.
How many guys really have that strive to go bowl on the tour?
Young guys, all of them. People my age, not so much.
I never had ideas of bowling on the tour. I mean, I would go try a PTQ there. I'm not gonna lie, like that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like I would do it, but I don't really think I would ever want to bowl on tour ever in my life. Would never ever thought I was ever gonna bowl on tour. Ever.
Well, no, you were a baseball player.
Yeah, but still, I mean, how many guys want to bowl on tour? I mean, like you're moving around. It's not a glamorous life. It's not like you're a baseball player where everybody knows your name. So now you're telling me that you got 20 guys who made their points who are gonna move? I don't think so.
And here's the other issue: is that, like Deke's saying, how much does a guy make on tour? $60,000. Yeah, I get that. This is where we got to change our mindset. We got to start trying to figure out how to make money for the guys. I'm trying
Don
to
hit it
bring the
good.
money up from the bottom.
There it is. If you aren't making money in the regional tours, you're might most likely not
Right,
going to make.
but
it
you
on
guys
the
are
full tour.
sitting in freaking 1995, just like with the tournaments around here, paying $75 for $1,000
$300 is
since
a lot of money.
2001.
But $300 is a lot of money for a regional. They
I
pay 1 in
understand.
4. So you want to raise it higher now?
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
I'm listening to what you're saying, Jimmy.
Bring the money in from the bottom and get it
You're
into
looking
the
to
PBA.
influx from the local levels.
Yes, get the money flowing in.
That's why
Bring
they
the
made.
sponsors
That's
in.
why they have their own Bolero thing. Where do you
Yeah,
think they're
what's
getting extra money
What's
from?
that doing for everybody?
I don't know, Kyle. I don't do it. I'm just saying Don't get
Plus,
rid
it
of
doesn't
PTQ.
actually get you anywhere. The league bowler certification does what?
Okay, but it could.
But it's not accessible to everybody because you can only be a bolero.
Bolero. I don't know.
So unless they buy
So,
every single
yeah,
bowling
if we
center in
wanted-
America,
If
it's
we wanted
useless.
to do it,
yeah.
Listen,
all right.
I don't know, Kyle.
One more
I
thing
like your
before
idea.
we go.
Listen, I like your idea.
Yeah.
I need
Except
to,
you hate it.
No, I like your idea. It's got promise. A few
I
things
think
I
we
would
need
change.
to we need to get some emails and
All
some
you want to do, I
comments
know, I figured
from
it
the
out.
fans.
I'm sorry, I figured it out. You just want to go around the system, walk in when the tour shows up, and be like, "Anthony's here. I'm ready to bowl.
Let me tell you something.
Get out of my way."
I won the same amount as Boog did for a lot less money and a lot less bowling.
All right.
I'm also on
Listen, before we
crossovers.
go-
So me and
That's
him
true.
are one and the
It's
same.
true.
We are
It's
one and the
true.
same.
Before we go, we got a listener email. I want to go over it quick. More about the PBA.
There you go, Donnie Harrington. Hold on. Top 30 guys on tour getting salary plus incentives plus entries.
Before we go, let's see. Patrick wrote us an email, and he asked why more bowling centers don't have bowl TV up while they're bowling.
Well, I'll tell you. What's the guy's name?
Patrick.
Because it's freaking hard to sign into that some B. We tried.
And
Also, you need smart TV. Oh, there's no app, is there? Did they
There's
do
an
the
app.
app yet? Did
Yeah.
they start the app?
Yeah.
Is it on smart TVs though?
oh, is the app on smart TVs? No,
Yeah.
you have to cast it to
So
the
now here we go.
TV. Or
Now-
you can maybe use the smart TV to go to the web browser and go to www.bowltv.com, sign in. Do you have your login information?
dude, I swear to God, I was a member because I'm a PBA member, but I don't.
Yeah, but
got
you
it.
have a bowling alley. All bowling centers are able to
All I know, my
get it for free.
My dad tried, and apparently it went bad. It went south. So maybe next time.
It took him 5 minutes. I was like, nah.
Next time I'll have to check it. Yes, I don't know. Why don't more people have Bowl TV? I guess I don't know how many events.
No, what he's saying is
Yes,
When-
Nick. Tomorrow
while
we have
he's-
open lanes. Yes,
while
Nick.
he's
Tomorrow
bowling.
open lanes.
while he's bowling, why isn't it up while because it's on? They're bowling at night while they're bowling league. He wants.
Oh,
to
we're
know,
talking PBA.
Yeah, he wants to know why is it not on in the bowling centers while we're bowling during league because they're bowling.
Listen, man, I couldn't tell you. I
with the
mean,
amount of other sports.
And he's not talking about town and country. He's
with the
talking
amount
about
of other
I know.
sports.
He's talking about
bowling.
everybody in general.
yeah.
Most places have a basketball game or a baseball game or this, that, and the other.
Here's what I would say. The qualifying on the PBA, in my opinion, is not the most exciting thing to watch. So when you go bowl with your friends, some people would prefer to watch the football game or the basketball game because either they're betting on it or they're got something going on it, or they just prefer to watch it.
You also got to remember that a lot of league guys don't actually watch bowl.
Right. Exactly. So
Maybe a little on Sundays, but
if it's on, I
not
bet you they
much.
would. If they saw it, they probably would. But I don't know. Like, there's no the commentary. Like, I don't know if the commentary is fully there yet. That's my opinion. I don't know if the production is fully there yet. It's gotta, if guys are gonna watch it, it's gotta be. They've got to have.
are you agreeing with me? You're actually agreeing with me?
You
about
didn't
the
say
production
anything yet. Well, I'm just saying I'm looking at it as a perspective of it's streamed. So, if something happens, it's down. There's no backup system. The cameras are a little bit grainy at times.
Very.
It's, so it's hard to cast that on a TV and have nice quality, something to watch.
Quality product.
Yeah. And it's hard with no announcers, I think, too, because I mean,
Well, if you watch,
do you watch?
Well, they
silent
do have
announcers?
the announcers, but they're like,
They're on.
hey Jimmy, do you mind running down to lane 22 and getting like they literally just have side conversations. They're like, oh man, so and so, Chris Vi's mom, these cookies are so good. I'm
Oh.
like, dude, this is just like, and
Listen,
but the
to be
people in the
fair,
chat,
I now want to try Chris Vi's mom's cookies when I heard that.
the people in the chat are like, oh, this is so fun, yeah. I'm like, this is the
Listen,
worst.
I'm
thing
not
to
even
watch
You
talking
got to
ever.
remember people that enjoy watching live streams.
Yeah, this is like
it's
their
a,
thing.
it's a totally different thing than just
Yeah.
watching TV.
I'm just saying, I think it would have to be more TV based for it to be on
yes, on the
at a
TV.
bowling center.
Understood.
Yes. Like you don't watch spring training.
Some people.
Some
do.
people do. But it is
The
TV.
diehard fans.
It is TV like produced. Like the production is TV is like normal TV level.
Right.
When we're watching bowling, it's not the same type of standard
Right.
as well as when you don't go watch spring football, college football. I mean, maybe you do on the Longhorn Network or something, but I'm sure if Texas and one of these bigger schools are doing it, it's TV level. But you're not going to go to freaking Georgia Southern or whatever the heck it is. I don't know, freaking some smaller school and say, oh, let's go on the
Watch them
live
do
stream
their
and
up
watch.
downs.
Yeah, like because first of all, their cameras aren't going to be as good because they don't have that broadcasting network. And I don't know. I that's just my thought on that. Don Harrington said the PBA 50 Tour is getting extra money, $300K to the prize funds due to YouTube income. The older guys are getting most of the views. That is super interesting.
You know why?
They have all the stars.
I can tell you why.
PB3.
No.
I'm a little
I'm
Monticelli.
totally speculating here, but it's not just because of the older stars, which it probably is partially.
I'm sure
but
it is. Who
you know
doesn't
what
want
it
to
is?
watch that?
I know where this is going.
I don't.
It's the guys that are,
I hate two-handers.
I bet you it's their buddies and stuff
It
too.
could be some of that, but it's the retired dudes.
And they
who
know
just
everybody.
Are scrolling the YouTube all day, and they do watch those guys all day
Yeah.
in and out.
I'm
all
sure
day.
that my dad loves watching the 50 tour.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah,
Big- But I bet you it's more. It might be the retired guys, but maybe like, oh, remember that time we bowled
Yeah.
with this guy? Hey, let's watch the P. They got nothing to do. I mean, maybe, but I bet you they've had the other guys too. The 50 guys have Monticelli. They've got Walter Ray. They have
PDW.
Duple. They got PDW. Maybe it's all from PDW because whether you loved them or hate them, you watched.
Plus, you get all of these.
You got a lot of
young
good
guys
players.
that just turned 50, and they get to walk in and now be a senior player.
I think that's really awesome for them to be doing that, and I'm excited for see where that goes because that's awesome to see that those guys are
And it is
popular.
I'll tell you, it is nice that they actually said, look at this YouTube revenue that's coming specifically from the senior stream,
Yeah, let's not put it somewhere else
and not hijack it.
Yeah,
and
for
they
the
actually
regular.
put it back into
where it came from.
right.
That's really good to
nice.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. Good to hear, and I hope you do great out there.
They aren't putting me out there for qualifying. It was good to hear. All right, Don. Thanks for the info.
Absolutely, a very
Um,
knowledgeable man, and he's always
yeah,
on his
yeah.
game.
Yes.
I do enjoy it.
All right. Well, it is time for us to go bowling. So
Or
thank
try
you. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully, my thoughts came across and they weren't totally, backwards and upside down and stupid.
Don't be afraid to throw comments in about it too.
I was
Yeah.
confused. I don't know. He said a lot of numbers.
Shut up. It's a great system. It'll work perfectly. Tom, you should implement this next year in 2025 and
Yeah.
give the regional guys a chance. Give them something to work for. That's all I got to say about that. All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. This is me clicking the bell. Click. All right. And if you can't watch on the YouTube, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service. Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Check out that Etsy shop. Get a shirt, Bowler's Bowl. The Thane Bang shirt is still there. You can also get the Lefty Love shirt if you care about lefties at all or if you're left-handed.
Yellow.
And that being said, Austin, good show tonight. Thank you to Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes. Anthony, good show tonight. Thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
Jambred.
We will see you guys next week. This is Downlane Podcast.